What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Hey guys, welcome once again to another installment into the Harry Potter series of reviews I'm going to be doing here on the channel, and I'm once again happy to be joined by my buddy Rashad G from Rashad G Reviews. If you're not already subscribed to Rashad, what are you doing? What's happening here? You should be subscribed to him. So with that said, his link is down below in the description box. Go give him some love. Let him know I sent you. But yes, if you guys are just now hopping on board, I want to implore you to go and check out our review for the Sorcerer Stone, the Philosopher Stone, depending on where you're from, for the first Harry Potter film, where I was reviewing it as a longtime fan of the series, coming with nostalgia and love for this series, and Rashad watched it for the very first time and was not really a fan. Here we are talking about the second film in the franchise, simply titled Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Definitely one of my favorite things about the Harry Potter franchise is that it reminds me in a lot of ways of franchises like Star Wars that have these really elaborate titles. So I've always loved the Harry Potter titles. So yeah, the Chamber of Secrets came out in 2002, and let's get into my thoughts on this. We'll hear about Rashad's in just a moment. Directed once again by Chris Columbus, who directed things like Home Alone 1 and 2, Mrs. Doubtfire, Bicentennial Man, and many others. This film has writing credits given to J.K. Rowling and Steve Kloves, and once again stars people like Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, Robert Coltrane, Richard Harris, as well as new faces in the franchise like Toby Jones, Jason Isaac, Kenneth Branagh, and many, many more. So the Chamber of Secrets is the one that I tend to hear called the worst one in the franchise by most people who check out this series. And in a lot of ways, I gotta say, I think I kind of agree. With that said though, I really enjoy this film, and going back and revisiting it was so nice. It's kind of had been quite some time since I'd seen the film, so it was nice to go into this movie once again with a fresh perspective, knowing where the story would go, knowing the bare bones of this film very well, but you know, getting reminded about small moments of performance, small moments in the music that is once again beautifully done by John Williams, who does score the first 3 films in this franchise, and a lot of his very familiar motifs that are very iconic from this franchise would go on to be reprised over and over again. And revisiting this movie, I was once again right into the magic. I was pulled right into the magic once again. I think Chris Columbus really understood the assignment when it comes to these first 2 Harry Potter films, because they really do lean into the more youthful side of this story, the more youthful, fun, whimsical, silly side of this story before it starts to get really serious with the next installment, which the next installment is usually the one people say is where shit begins to get real. And I highly, highly agree. So yeah, kudos to Chris Columbus for his directing in this film. Again, I think he brings a youthful charm that you tend to see in his films that also really lends itself to the storytelling here. And again, you have a big, whimsical, magical adventure from beginning to end. With that said, I do have some criticisms on certain elements of the story that I feel for a first-time viewer could be a little bit hollow, maybe not have as much meat on the bone, and maybe makes you think, what's the big importance of this? But when you think about this movie in the big picture of the franchise, there are so many little great moments that really lay out the groundwork for where this franchise would end up going. And that's something I really enjoyed revisiting this film. I forgot about how much of this film really ties into the future and what's to come with the character of Voldemort, or He Who Shall Not Be Named. And yeah, I really enjoy all the stuff they kind of do in this film with Harry Potter slowly uncovering things about Tom Riddle. With that said though, Christian Coulson is introduced in this franchise as Tom Riddle, and he's seen in the film almost like as a memory for Harry to kind of have to defeat at the end of the movie in a way. And it gives us a really more in-depth interaction between Harry and Tom, or Voldemort, more so than what we got at the very end of the first film pretty briefly. What I really enjoy about this film, again, is the adventure. I really enjoy the little hints and nods to where things would go. But in terms of the story in and of itself here, we learn that there is this thing called the Chamber of Secrets, and it's been opened as the heir of Slytherin has come back to Hogwarts. And over the course of this season there at the school, they start to have these incidents where certain people are being petrified, which is essentially that they're being frozen, paralyzed via magic, and it's not necessarily super easy to get them out of it. But thankfully, everybody who is petrified in this film does come back and everybody's okay. But yeah, it seems essentially, in a different way of saying it, there's a bunch of, not so lethal murders going around the school, and Harry Potter finds himself at the center of every single crime scene, as you could say. So Harry is consistently being framed, and there's definitely an element in this film of him having to defend his name while also trying to do everything in his power to uncover what's happening with the Chamber of Secrets, where we learn that there's a huge serpent beast down there that is causing these non-lethal murders. And there's so many things that happen in this film that if I was to do a full breakdown of every little thing, with Dobby coming at the very beginning to warn him not to come because somebody wants to kill Harry Potter, and so many other little things that are leading into future films, it would take me forever, and this isn't going to be a full breakdown of every single event that happens here. I just wanted to talk about my thoughts on this movie, and overall, this is a good time. I really enjoy the visual style here. You can tell that they were able to have a bigger budget here to do more with the special effects. Definitely in a lot of ways looks a lot better than the first film, but I will say I think there is a tighter story to the first film overall, and there's a charm to the fact that that was the first film in the franchise that you just don't really find here nearly as much. That's not to say that this film doesn't have, a charm as well. It very much takes what the first one was and doubles down in a lot of areas, gives us bigger moments of action, expansion of lore, and again, because of the bigger budget, there was a really great use of practical and digital effects across the entire movie that really make this world feel alive. That's one of my favorite things about the Harry Potter films, is you have all these characters that, are great, but they only are as good as the world that they're within. And J.K. Rowling and Chris Columbus and everybody else who was part of the production design of this film and these films in general always do a really great job of bringing the world of Hogwarts and the wizarding world of Harry Potter to life, whether it's in the costume design, the animatronic design, the makeup, the hair design, whatever the case may be. I think overall these movies have always had really great production value, and this film is by no means an exception. I really enjoy the look and feel of this film, and there's moments in this film that you just gotta praise the hard work that went into the CGI. And some of it's a little goofy by today's standards, with this film having come out literally 20 years ago. But yeah, overall, I really enjoy the way this film still looks. I really enjoy the characters. They're able to expand on these characters a lot more. There's no need to worry about introducing who they are and what their role is. And instead, we can expand upon these things. I really enjoy that we get to spend a lot more time with the Weasleys in this film, getting a little bit more of that family dynamic that will continue to be a really big part of the series as the films progress. I really enjoy as well, again, like I said, the kind of groundwork that they start to set up in regards to things with Tom Riddle and Voldemort, as well as also really establishing far more of the connection between Dumbledore and Harry Potter. I really enjoy the time spent between the two of them here in this film, and Richard Harris, who plays the character and will later on be recast due to his passing, I think does a great job of setting up this relationship between Dumbledore and Harry. In the first film, Dumbledore was there and they definitely had their moments, but there wasn't as much as there is here, where we spend a lot of time with Harry and Dumbledore alone. I really thoroughly enjoyed their time together, and there's a great scene where Dumbledore is talking about the Phoenix that he has in his office, and the Phoenix is actually an animatronic. And if you watch the Harry Potter reunion thing that they did, they talked about how the fact that Richard Harris thought it was a real bird. He was completely sold on the fact that it was a real bird. He didn't even know it was an animatronic at the time, which just goes to show you how good some of the special effects in here really are when it comes to the animatronics, practical effects, costume design, and all of that. On top of that, you have great action, and again, the movie just looks good. It's a good-looking movie with some moments of CG that don't hold up, but overall, production value-wise, really, really solid, with a very interesting story that at times can feel a little hollow, with a couple of things that do feel like if you're watching this for the very first time and you don't know where this connects later on, you may think, what's the importance of that? And I think that really mainly lies in with Tom Riddle's appearance at the end. I feel like if you don't know where this film is going, Tom Riddle's appearance at the end feels kind of random and forced, whereas if you're rewatching it like me after having seen all these movies many times, you can really enjoy the stepping stones that they're laying out in this film. Now, there's some more stuff I want to talk about, specifically about some of the new cast members, but those are my general thoughts on the film in and of itself. But before we get to the rest of my thoughts on this, let's go ahead and hand it over to Rashad from Rashad G Reviews, and we'll get back to my thoughts in just a moment.
spoilers, don't worry. I'm gonna see this to the end, okay? I'm a man of my word. Harry Potter and the Chamber, the Chamber of the Secrets, the Secret Chambers, or whatever the hell. Oh, look at it. I tried, man. I tried. I sincerely tried. I said, you know what? I want to really give this a fair shake, and like, I'm trying to find something about it that I like. So I want to give props where props is due. The visuals, stunning. The effects, even for 2002, hold up very well. Alright, there's even a couple of sequences that I like. I like when they're on the broomsticks playing broomstick football. The flying car thing is pretty cool. Reminds me of E.T. My problem with these Harry Potter movies so far, I've only seen 2 of them. My problem is that I can't follow the story. There's just so much going on. I can't follow any fucking thing that's happening. I don't know what's happening. I had to go to Wikipedia just to read the plot. All I know is school and magic and twist and this book and then that book and then this sorcerer, that sorcerer. And I'm just like, I don't give a shit. I said, okay, well, if I can't follow the plot, maybe I can gravitate to one of the characters. Maybe if I can just get a character to latch on to. There's not a single character in these 2 movies that I can connect with, that I can relate to, that I want to root for. Even Harry Potter, he's supposed to come from some bad family situation where his family keeps him locked up in this damn little dungeon or whatever. Well, in this one, his father keeps him locked up in a room. But I don't take this shit seriously because it's so goofy. This is like, you know, this is comedic almost, because it's so over the top stupid. So I don't buy the fact that he comes from a damaged home. I don't care about Harry Potter. I don't care about nobody in this movie. That's my problem. So I can't follow the story. I can't follow the characters. Why am I here? I'm here for you, Perez. But why am I here, though? I slept through about 30% of this movie. Alright, I slept. I tried to wake up. I tried to rewind it. It took me about maybe 4 hours to watch it. But after a while, I just said, fuck it. And I just let it play out as I'm on the couch like this. Dead ass. I'm sorry, listen. I know you have a lot of good things to say about this movie. That's why I'm not even going to take long in my little review on this. But and I hate to be the guy that just, you know, pisses on the parade, dampens the mood, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to be long, man. But, yo, I feel the same way about this movie as I felt about the other movie. Okay, if I can give it any more props, is that the effects hold up a lot better. That is it. That is all. I am not liking these movies so far. But I have faith, and I am going to finish it. Like, as much as I don't like them, I am going to finish it, all right? My word is my bond. Perez, I got you. But so far, I ain't feeling it at all. And I'm, you know, even if it's a movie I know I'm not going to watch again, I try to walk away with some souvenir, with something that I can remember and say, okay, even though I don't like this movie, but I do remember this, or I do remember that. I guess the only souvenir I can take away is the flying brooms and those gremlin look. There was a scene with these little blue things. It looked like a cross between a gremlin and a damn Smurf. I'm trying to think, like, what is it about this franchise that people like? I don't understand, man. You know, I mean, I just don't, I don't get, like, I try to get the appeal. Okay, my first review, I said, okay, I understand why people love this franchise. I respect it. And I still respect it because it does have a loyal fan base, but I'm trying to understand why. What is it about this franchise that people like? With the spells, the fact that these cars can fly, you know what I'm saying? This magician school. Hell, Perez, I find more interest in those bad Disney movies that you sent me, like Brink, and, well, not Up in the Way. Hell, I'll even take Holes right about now, man. At least those movies were kind of easy to follow as far as the plot. And there were, you know, you wanted to root for some of the characters. I don't fuck with nobody in these movies. But they are done very well. And shout out to John Williams. I forgot to bring up John Williams. John Williams' score, excellent. John Williams' score and the effects make this movie watchable. But other than that, no. That's it and that's all. Perez, thank you for having me on this collab, man. I'm out.
Oh, jeez. Oh, Lord have mercy. Rashad. I don't have words for you, bro. I don't have words. Once again, a big thanks to Rashad for joining me for another video. Always a pleasure to have you on, my friend. And, you know, Rashad, you have been one of the key players in my life of really just letting me be okay with having a difference of opinions with people, because the amount of times that we've covered movies and been on the complete opposite end of opinions, but still have a great friendship is honestly one of my favorite things. With that said, I'm not 100% surprised to hear that you didn't love this movie again. I'm glad that there was a couple more things you could praise about this one that maybe you didn't praise about the first one. I do think there's more to these movies than you are seeing at times, but with that said though, I think that a big part of my rewatches now, where I'm coming from, is the fact that I do know where the story is going. So I am hoping once we wrap up the franchise that maybe you'll have a different appreciation for those earlier films, and maybe you'll want to revisit them to kind of see maybe what you missed that was said in the dialogue that you really didn't know you needed to grasp onto. But with that said, I look forward to having you on for the next one, where shit does start getting a lot more real and the story starts to mature. We get a new director in the director's chair and things start to change up quite a bit. And the next film is the last film scored by John Williams. So again, a big thanks to Rashad for being here in this video. You guys can find the link to his channel down below in the description box. Go give him some love, let him know I sent you, and let's wrap up my thoughts on Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This film introduces us to Dobby, played by Toby Jones, who will go on to become a fan favorite as the films go on. And in this film, in and of itself, he's a bit of an annoying character. The CG around him isn't 100% as nice as it will be later on, but he's such a lovable character later on, and he continues to grow on you with each film and every time you see him. And it's really nice to kind of go back and revisit his early phase. I kind of wish that I remembered what I felt about Dobby when I first watched this film. I don't know if I was annoyed by him or if I liked him right from the jump, but rewatching it now, I can recognize how he may be annoying for some who have never seen his character before, but I had a lot of fun revisiting his character, and I think Dobby will go on to continually be one of my favorite smaller characters in the Harry Potter franchise, just because of the impact of some of the moments that he has later on in the franchise. Now, one character I absolutely have to talk about here is Lucius Malfoy, played by Jason Isaacs. And here's what I'll say, man. I mean, he is a phenomenal actor, and he is so good in this role. I love the look of his character. I love the feel of his performance. He is so tangible and real, and he is the perfect casting for the father of Draco Malfoy, played by Tom Felton, who again in this film is really good. One thing I really love about Jason Isaacs, and rewatching this movie, something that made it abundantly clear to me, was that Jason Isaacs should have been the Grand Inquisitor in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show on Disney+. And if you're wondering why the hell would they do that, well, he was the voice of the Grand Inquisitor in Star Wars Rebels, which was the show, the series that first introduced the Grand Inquisitor to the big screen, or to the screen in general. So the fact that they went with Rupert Friend, though I think he did a good job and he's a great actor too, just doesn't really make sense to me. I think that Jason Isaacs has such a menacing look to himself, and his voice and everything about his performance would have just been so good in Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it would have been far more consistent with the character that we see in Star Wars Rebels later on. That it doesn't really have anything to do with Harry Potter, but I think he's great in this movie, and I felt like I should mention that since I saw him on screen and I thought, man, he would have been so good as the Grand Inquisitor. Gilderoy Lockhart, played by Kenneth Branagh, is a funny character in this film. I don't really think he should have had as much screen time as he did, because ultimately I feel like he's kind of an inconsequential character in this film, but he's enjoyable for the time we have with him. As I mentioned earlier, you have Christian Coulson playing Tom Riddle. I think he gives a good performance. The scene where, he spells out the whole thing with his name, where it says, "I am Lord Voldemort." Cheesier than I remember, but overall I think he gives a good performance, but he's kind of just crammed into the third act of this film, and at times it does feel a bit hollow. Now, one thing I could totally imagine did not work for Rashad, and I almost wish that I could have been watching these scenes with him, is Shirley Henderson as Moaning Myrtle, a character that was killed by the serpent that, is causing everything that's happening in this movie with the Chamber of Secrets, and she was killed in a bathroom in Hogwarts that nobody ever goes to or uses anymore, but Harry, Ron, and Hermione have chosen to use as kind of like a base of operations, and ends up being the entrance of the Chamber of Secrets. Moaning Myrtle is this character that just hangs around in there. She's a ghost, and she's got this very high-pitched voice, and she's always crying and moaning, and yeah, she's a bit much. You know, there are scenes with her in this movie where I feel like she just doesn't need to be in the movie. And there's times where the film is so serious and the story is trying to tell. Then you get to the scenes with Moaning Myrtle and it feels a little bit more cartoony. With all of that said, I think it goes without saying that I enjoy this film. There are a couple things, again, that I feel are a little hollow, but revisiting it, I found it to be such a good time with great practical effects, great digital effects, outside of a couple of moments, great characters, great character work, world building, expansion of the lore, expansion of this narrative, and a lot of really great moments that do start to foreshadow and set up for future films that could seem hollow in and of themselves, but ultimately are a great part of the story and a much needed part of the puzzle piece as we continue on this journey. A big thanks to Rashad for joining me here in yet another Harry Potter video. Can't wait to have you on for the next one, my friend, and I can't wait to watch the next one myself. A big thanks to all of you guys for watching, and if you guys can do me that favor of hitting that like button down below, it helps the channel out. Also, leave a comment down below. Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Whatever you want to comment down below, you can literally just comment, and that's fine by me because that also helps the channel out. If you guys want to also hit that subscribe button, that really helps the channel out, and then you can stick around and hit the bell icon and get notified whenever I upload a brand new video. And if you guys want to as well, you can find the link to Rashad G's channel down below in the description box. Go give him some love, let him know I sent you. But for now, I will leave you guys by saying thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.